Hello, my sacred ones. I'm Savina Leo, and this is the Sacred Sutra Podcast, where I break down spiritual concepts so you can understand and integrate them into your everyday life. I've been talking about debt a lot this week, and I guess it's October, so the veil is thinner around this time of year, which basically means that the space between the spirit world and the earth world or the 3D world is at its closest. So we're able to connect to the spirit world easier during this time period. A lot of cultures usually pay reverence to ancestors or the dead, and we have Halloween all around this time, and it's because the energy is easier to connect to into the spirit world. We're just gonna dive right in. What happens when you die? Now, just like everyone's birth story is different, but at the end of the day, we all end up on Earth. It's the same thing with a death story. Now, someone's death story might be a little different from another person, but at the end of the day, we all go to the same place. But because you are the creator and your thoughts create reality, the reality that you end up in after you die is somewhat dependent on you and your thoughts about your life and where you should end up. But at the end of the day, nothing is permanent. It's all temporary. So even if you end up in a place that seems hellish, you don't ever have to stay there for an extended period of time. What happens for most souls when they do pass away is a loved one, a guide, maybe your favorite ascended master or spiritual teacher greets you when you die to help you transition from being an earth being into being a soul. And you go through something called a life review. Now, this life review doesn't come from a judgmental place. It comes from a place of, I came to the earth with a soul mission, so I want to see if I've completed my soul mission, and then on the way to completing my soul mission, who have I impacted, whether it's in a negative or positive way. We tend to then feel the feelings of the people that we've impacted, whether it's good or bad, and we understand their point of view within our life review. And again, I want to emphasize that it's not a judgmental place that you're coming from. You want to have and collect as much wisdom as possible from your experience on Earth. You feel the feelings that others have towards you with certain situations that happened within your lifetime. And you get a better sense of who they are, how you've impacted them, how they have impacted you and your life. And you almost have like this deep appreciation for the experiences that you've had with them. You might feel remorse for making someone feel bad. You might feel a deep appreciation for someone who brought great joy into your life, a lot of laughter. It's a range of emotions and motions that you go through. You also might want to make things right if you have wronged them, and you can't do that from the other side. But that's also where karma plays in, because you have multiple lifetimes with someone and you might want to finish your karma with them in another lifetime. It depends. It's a complex and complicated system that it's very hard to explain in human terms, but it all balances itself out eventually. And you're probably thinking, well, Savina, what happens to like murderers and rapists and like really evil people? Evil does not really exist. And it actually might be part of someone's soul plan to be murdered or raped or abused on a very difficult level. I understand you're probably thinking, why would anybody want to be raped or murdered? We're here to have experiences, both good and bad. And sometimes a soul loves you so much that they facilitate that horrible experience that then changes your entire life. Or maybe you have abandoned a child in one life, and in the next life, this child ends up raping you as a stranger. It's very complicated. It's why you do not remember your past lives, because you will go insane. I mean, it's already enough just being a singular human being. Imagine remembering all your lifetimes. I will also go into detail in soul plans. That episode, I will explain to you how a soul plan can work and how bad things happen to good people, and sometimes that might be a soul contract between two souls. So I'm gonna jump off that train for now, and I wanna explain how souls can communicate with us. Our loved ones know the grief and the pain that they leave behind, and they try to communicate with us through signs and symbols, things that they know we connect to them with. Anytime you see a sign, a symbol, something that comes up on a television or a song on your radio, and you think about your loved one, whether a song reminds you of your grandfather, and you wonder if that is a sign from him, it definitely is a sign from him. You just have to not doubt that it's a sign from that individual. But sometimes that can be difficult because grief is a very low vibrating frequency. Our loved ones are vibrating at a very high frequency. So in order to meet them halfway, we kind of have to go through the grief process, because that's very important. But eventually, we do need to raise our vibration in order to really connect with them. Because at the end of the day, once we think about them, once we go through sentimental stuff, once we have like weddings and birthday parties and big celebrations, they will always be there. But to really connect with them, we almost have to be in a very high vibrational state in order to get messages from them while we are awake. Now, the reason why it's so easy for them to come into our dreams is because the conscious mind is asleep at that time and the subconscious mind is at play. So our conscious mind was programmed by society, our parents, teachers, and they usually tell you that it's crazy when you talk to dead people or when you can see dead people. So our conscious mind tends to block communication from our loved ones because we dismiss it, we doubt it, we say, no, that's not really true. So it's difficult for them to communicate with us when we are awake. When we go to sleep, we are in a subconscious place, and it's easier for them to enter our subconscious and have meaningful experiences with you there and have full interactions with you there that are 100% real. So the more you believe and the less that you doubt your experiences with your loved ones, the more it tends to happen to you. Now, a lot of us tend to experience a lot of guilt when it comes to loved ones who have passed away, whether you did not see them before they left the earth, or you didn't tell them the things that you wanted them to hear before they left the earth, or you feel like they've left the earth in a very tragic way. You can be burdened with a lot of guilt around the passing away of a loved one. And I'm here to explain and say this to you, that they hear every single thought that you have about them. They know the love that you have for them. They know how important they were to you. They know all the loving and even angry thoughts that you have about them. And they don't feel emotions like we feel emotions, so you don't even have to feel guilty for being angry at them, because they understand where it comes from, because they're at a higher perspective. all they want from you is for you to live your life to the fullest, happiest version of yourself. When you live your life to that version and you don't hold yourself back from grief and guilt, they get to experience that with you. They get to grow with you. They get to evolve with your soul. So the best thing you could ever do for a loved one is live your life to the fullest, and that is what they will always want for you. If you take nothing away from this podcast, just remember that they love you unconditionally and they will always want the best for you. And yes, they do watch you while you have sex. I'm just kidding. They don't. Unless you think about them. Did I just fuck your day up? I'm sorry. Anyway, if you want to connect with me, please find me on Instagram. I am wild as fuck on there. And if you are lost on your spiritual journey and you feel called to work with me, click the link in the description and I would love to be your spiritual mentor. Support my content by liking, leaving a review, or sharing my podcast with someone you think it will be helpful for. And we're coming to the close of 2021 and moving into 2022. If you want to learn how to manifest more into your life, I'm going to have a manifestation masterclass next year. You can sign up for the waitlist in the link below. Talk to you guys soon.